What is going on, y'all? So, today is Calisthenics and Shoulders Day. So, if you have not been here before on this particular day, what this is going to consist is a mix of things. Shoulders, as you guys know. And what does that include? Shoulder press, lateral raises, rear delt flies, all the good, 3 heads of the shoulder work, right? You're going to be hitting a little other things too with that. Shoulder press, you're also hitting triceps, a little bit of traps, all types of things. Another thing we're going to be hitting today is directly just shrugs. I'm just going to be focusing on just getting a contraction. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a lighter weight on dumbbells, focus on the forearm strength a little bit too, get a little bit of everything. And, traps, obviously. But after that, then we're going to be going to pull-ups. And then after pull-ups, we're going to be going to push-ups. And then after push-ups, we're going to be going to, abs. We might do abs first day. We'll kind of see the day that we have today. So we might do shoulders first, and then abs, maybe abs and then shoulders. I don't really know. But today, for our pre-workout, we have 2 bananas and a Gatorade. And, that's just going to give you quick energy, just a boost of energy, making sure you're being able to lift and keep going throughout your workouts. Now, that's not to say that we also didn't have caffeine. 1 second, y'all. Let me just put you guys on the charger so you guys don't die up in this mud. But, gosh, you'd think I'd be prepared. Oh my goodness. There we go. Wait, there we go. All right. Back to where we were. But yeah. So, you may be asking yourself, what does a, pre-workout meal, snack, what does that do for you? All it does is give you energy to get through your workout. Like I said, just simple bananas, You don't got to do crazy, whatever. You can have honey and rice cakes, honey and bananas, honey and chicken, there's all types of things you could do. But all you need to do is just have fast digesting carbs, right? And that's one of the more important things, part of workouts that people don't tell you your early days into lifting. What they tell you is eat protein, bulk up as much as you can, eat as much of everything as you can. If I was a lifter and I got told things that I would want to know to, immediately gain as much progress as I can, you can automatically just gain progress. And when you're just a newbie in the gym, your first, 8 months, you'll gain progress like crazy. It'll be like you're on steroids. But, I'm not going to say the 3 things because there's more than 3 things. But the key components I would tell you is make sure you're eating 50 to 80 carbs of fast digesting carbs before you lift, 30 minutes before you lift. Make sure you're eating 0.7 to a pound or 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per body weight. Make sure your carbs are high, your fats are moderate to low, and have fun with training. So, there's nothing more I could really tell you. That was my parents for a second. But, you know what I'm saying, man? Just, like I said, that last rule, have fun. Get in there and try a bunch of crap, Get in there and try every machine. Try, something you saw on Instagram, It's whatever you want to do, man. The gym is an adult playground. So if you want to go in there, have fun. Look stupid for a second. I remember there was one day when I was starting in the gym by myself. This is I think the first or second time I was in the gym alone, because before I didn't really take it serious. It was I would do it 15 to 20 minutes with my stepbrother, and then I'd go play basketball for the rest of the time remaining. And then we would do somewhat squats and stuff, all that kind of crap. But But it was the second time, I think it was like when I was in the gym alone. It was one of the first times I was in the gym alone. you know, and that's always the scariest, because like I said, you might feel dumb, you don't really know how to do stuff, you're just kind of looking around at things, you know, just trying out things. But I remember there was this old man, he wore a stringer, he looked like he's been in the gym for his whole life, but he's older, so like he didn't have that much muscle mass, but he had more than I did, because I had no muscle mass, and you know, he's heavier than I am, he's an old guy. But I was on a machine, and then he went on the machine next, the machine I was just on, because I went over to the machine next to it. I think I was doing back that day or something. I was like, I think it was a pull down machine, and then I went to a row machine right next to it, and he looked at it and just laughed at me. I'm like, like, that's not cool, dude. Like, I'm new to the gym. You could see I'm like 115 pounds soaking wet. Why are you being like that? You know, I've always, you know, said, if I ever see a new guy in the gym, I'm not going to go up to him and tell him all types of things, you know, like, there was one time, there was a guy who was squatting, and he had Vapor Maxes on, and I don't know if he took it offensively. I didn't say it offensively. I was just like, hey man, I used to squat Vapor Maxes and stuff, and all kinds of those shoes. I'd recommend going in flat-footed shoes, like Vans or something, because you'll get less knee problems. He kind of looked at me and was like, oh, okay, and didn't really, like, seem like he took it good. But, yeah, like I said, if somebody came out to me and asked me for advice or something, I'd 100% give it to them. Because why are you being mean? You know, man, like, the gym isn't complicated, but it definitely is whenever you go in there for your first couple times, alone, right? So, have a buddy to go in there with, maybe, if you want, but try things. Try all the shoulder presses, try all the bicep machines, a set. You don't even have to go to failure on it. You know, just get a little burn, get a pump. But other than that, we're gonna get into it now. I'm gonna eat my banana, drink a little bit more of my Gatorade, and then have it for intro. All right, so first exercise of the day, we're gonna be doing shoulder press on the machine, and we're gonna be doing 2 sets of this right here. You're gonna be hitting various muscle groups like tricep, a little bit of traps, and mainly front delts and some side delts when you do this. But explode on the way up, train to failure, and keep your elbows in rather than flared out, because it's a lot safer for your shoulder health, and also you'll be able to push more weight. So overall, you're just getting more benefits out of it. So and now we're going to be doing lateral raises, and we're going to be leading with the pinky finger when we're doing these, making sure we're exploding on the way up and controlling it on the way down comfortably, making sure we're trained to failure once again. And we're going to be doing these for 2 sets, and like I said, train to failure. Okay, oh my gosh. And now we're going to be doing a rear delt row. And you may be asking yourself, what's the difference with this? How are you kind of more isolating your rear delts rather than like your, you know, lower traps and stuff? And the whole intent is you're kind of going like below your chest whenever you're doing like a, you know, like a high, you know, kind of trap, mid trap, low trap row. But this, you're kind of just going over your, like, you're going barely below your collarbone, and you're really just squeezing out and making sure your arms are wide when you do it, rather than, you know, maybe kind of in or anything else. But yeah, just make sure your arms are as flared out as you can. And you're definitely going to need to go a little lower whenever you do this, weight-wise, but just get a good squeeze out in the top portion, and we're going to be doing 3 sets of this till failure. we're going to be focusing on the trap muscle up top to really just get that mountain look up top. But train to failure, and make sure your arms are almost just like you're almost about to do a lateral raise where they're out and not against your side. Because, you know, the more they are against your side, the less, you know, development for traps you're going to get, and the less squeeze and stuff up top you're going to get. And it makes the movement a little harder. So, once again, train to failure. And now we have 2 sets of pull-ups, not to failure, but only because we're doing back in the next couple days. And I just like to do a little calisthenics, just get a little better on pull-ups. But 2 reps before failure, and just exploding the way up, keeping your elbows in. So now for our last exercise of the day, we're going to be doing this chest workout here. As you see it, you might think, and I've tried to explain this to a buddy of mine before in the past. I was like, well, this hits your chest, and he said he only felt his shoulder. Just try to retract your shoulder blade as much as you can, and when you're doing it, since it's at one arm at a time, just try to feel the middle part of your chest whenever you're doing it. That's the way I feel my chest activate when I do it. But just make sure you're keeping your elbow in whenever you're doing this exercise. And we're going to be doing not a drop set, but an up set. So we're going to be doing about 5 to 8 reps, and then we're going to be upping the weight, because the first kind of, 4, 5, 6, whatever reps, you're kind of just getting a good feel for the exercise, and then you're really bringing it out to failure. We're done. Ooh. We're out of here. So, for workout today was very good. The beginning. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't good at the end, but just a little bit of it starts getting slower, right? Like you get to your fun lifts and stuff, and then you get to the mediocre lifts where it's more like filler. Like if you do an arm day, like bicep and tricep is fun, like heavy push down and stuff like that, that's fun. And then you get to the kind of lighter squeezing, dumbbell curls and stuff, and then it's okay, this is just repetition now. So I'm not going to complain about the workout. I had fun doing it, but it was a good workout. But I don't know why I keep saying but but we're gonna go home. I gotta do some room stuff. Gotta clean up the room, do some laundry, maybe some dishes, whatnot, and then then we're just gonna kind of that made me really dark. And then we're just gonna kind of just that'll be it for the day. There's not gonna be much more stuff. Just eating and sleeping and doing it again. Next couple days. So tomorrow's gonna be a rest day. So you guys will see this. I don't know if you guys will see this tonight, which is Sunday, or you guys will just see it tomorrow. I might do it tomorrow, just so Monday early morning. You guys get to see it rather than, a late night Sunday, that's just kind of what I think, but other than that, y'all, I'm going to leave it here, I'm for me to say, geez, I can't talk either, so I hope you guys have a very blessed day.